Watch.
AI is rapidly changing the music landscape, and from viral synthetic vocals to fully digital pop stars, we're entering new territory. But as technology moves fast, it's raising some big questions around creativity, ownership, and ethics. Today, we're diving into the current state of AI music, what artists like Timbaland and Young Guru are saying, what experts like Markman and Bolo think, and what the courts are starting to decide. Timbaland recently introduced TaTa, an AI-powered artist under his new genre A-pop with his new company Stage Zero. He described it as the next chapter in music evolution, but the launch drew immediate criticism. Music journalist and artist Markman offered a thoughtful middle ground. He's not against AI, but he emphasized the need for respect and transparency.
I'm disappointed with Timbaland right now. I'm disappointed with Timbaland's latest venture, his latest move, and he's been moving towards this way for a while now. I personally don't get it. I think it's a slap in the face to artists, singers, songwriters, musicians, creatives, etc. We're at a real crossroads right now when it comes to creativity.
Markman's point is clear. Technology can be a tool, but it shouldn't override the rights of the creators who built the foundation of the industry.
There's also so many aspiring human artists looking for ways to make a living off of their art, right? So how does it look when someone who knows how to write a good prompt for AI just takes over and says, you know what? Fuck those piano lessons, man. Fuck those 10,000 hours. I got this. And you could just write a good prompt as opposed to any artist out there who has been perfecting their craft. So who does this benefit? Who is it for? Artists and especially songwriters, right? Think about the financial side of this. Artists and songwriters are trying to figure out ways to get their fair share from DSPs, especially songwriters. And with AI artists uploading to the platform, it starts to dilute the pool of money that's available to pay out real artists.
Well-known YouTube content creator and legendary producer in his own right, Bolo brought another layer to the discussion. He noted that this wasn't just about technology, it was about power. Who gets to shape the future of music and who gets left out of the conversation.
And, some people, felt like it was kind of cool because you can have your own artist. You can pretty much tell your artist what to do. Your artist will execute it. And if it fails, the artist will not even be able to talk back to you because the artist is artificial intelligence. And for people who have been in the music game, they kind of understand this a little bit more than some people who have not been deep into the music industry like that. Like, one of the worst things you can deal with in the music industry is artists and just pretty much anybody who talks back. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have to have been in that situation to really kind of understand why some of these people are like, either number one, they're not being in the music game, or they just completely got out of it because of the demands of what artists try to tell people who are basically putting up the capital and giving them the means to become an artist.
To understand the legal and ethical concerns around AI, let's take a look back to 1991. That's when Biz Markie was sued for sampling a song without permission.
And what we're talking about here is Biz Markie's 1991 song entitled Alone Again, in which he used a Gilbert O'Sullivan song by the same name against his permission. Now, as the story goes, Biz Markie and his camp requested permission for the sample ahead of time before using it, in which they were given a response of no, you may not use it. They ended up using it anyway, in which the case went to court. And the judge later filed that basically any song that was now being used as a sample was required by law to have permission from its original owner before being used.
Young Guru referenced this case because it draws an interesting parallel. Unauthorized use of someone's creative work is still unauthorized, whether it's a sample or it's AI. Now in 2024, the RIAA is suing AI companies like Suno and Udio. The accusation, these companies train their models using millions of copyrighted songs without permission. And what's their defense? They're saying it's fair use, that they're not copying, they're learning. But the RIAA argues that this is large-scale infringement that directly threatens human creators. The outcome of this lawsuit could set the new standard for how AI interacts with copyrighted content. It's being compared to the Biz Markie case in terms of impact. So what's next? AI isn't going anywhere. but neither are the artists. What we need now is structure, clear rules that protect creative rights while still allowing innovation to move forward. At the heart of this issue is a bigger question. Who gets to control the sound of tomorrow? Technology might amplify creativity, but only if it respects the people behind the music. As someone who's worked on my own music for over 20 years now, the topic hits especially close to home. On one hand, I will always find myself fighting for the little guy, for the starving artist. But on the other hand, for those of you who know me, you know I am a tech junkie. I have been on this AI train since it left the station, and ultimately, I find myself somewhere in the middle. I believe that AI is a great tool to be used by artists, not a stand-in for the artists themselves. I used this analogy a while back when discussing AI in Photoshop. They may produce similar end results to untrained eyes, but Photoshop is to AI what a made-from-scratch meal with custom-picked ingredients is to microwave frozen food. Yeah, you're still eating pizza, but you have more control and more personally invested into the dinner made from scratch. There's a level of pride and accomplishment that comes from making something on your own that AI cannot replicate. And that's why I feel like A-pop, autonomous virtual stars, and AI music will go the same way as the NFT. At the end of the day, no matter how indistinguishable this AI art becomes from music made by artists, there is something in almost everyone that just appreciates human creation more than something produced by a machine. That's why we're willing to pay more for handcrafted fashion, for furniture, for food, for other consumables that had love and hard work poured into them. There's something about that human element of going into a concert and watching a human perform their art that a pitch-perfect generated soundscape cannot duplicate, no matter who's programming it. And while I'm not worried about AI music taking over, I'm not going to excuse the exploitation of new and struggling artists who have to worry about an established star or a company using their leverage to force AI out and steal opportunities in an already saturated market. AI music needs regulation, and my solution, as simple as it sounds, would be to create a new type of license. This license would cover using AI prompts and models to produce commercial works. The finer points would need to be worked out, but I think a good place to start would be to have AI document what artists, what songs, what samples, and catalogs were sourced when creating a specific piece. You add a percentage and a fee to that specific entity based on their usage. Not only would it be fair, but I feel like it would deter your average person from abusing this new type of technology. It would create a price barrier to entry. You want to play, you gotta pay. But what do you think? If you found this insightful, please consider subscribing. And of course, we want to hear from you. Should AI be allowed to create music using human voices, or does that cross a line? That's for you to answer. This is NRG signing off, and as always, until next time, take your energy.